actually, why don't I try to say something about the shallow water waves? Because I think this is very
Okay.
visual.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so the shallow water waves in my research are just like what they sound like. This is like shallow water waves at the beach. You find a beach with
Okay.
a very flat bottom, very small amount of water, maybe only an inch or two of water. And then if you have these, very good conditions, you'll start to see interactions of waves, and you'll see things like two waves coming together, meeting, and then maybe another wave splits off. It's formed out of these two and splits off. And you can get these very intricate patterns of waves and how they interact. And so what's interesting is that back when I was an assistant professor at Berkeley, so this would have been maybe 2009 or 2010, I saw a paper of a Japanese mathematician named Yuji Kodama, who I had never heard of, and I didn't know him. But he had a paper on shallow water waves, and he was citing some of my work on the positive Grassmannian. And I thought this is very strange. And I tried to read his paper. It was like sitting on my desk for about a year. But he was coming from mathematical physics. He was using different areas of math I wasn't familiar with. And so I kind of tried and failed to read his paper. And so finally I decided, okay, let's just email him out of the blue. So I sent him an email and I said, would you like to come visit me in Berkeley, give a lecture, stay for the week? We can talk about this. And he wrote back and he said he'd be happy to. And so he showed up, and we started talking together. And it was like trying to talk to someone who speaks another language, because we came from very different mathematical backgrounds.
Yeah.
So the first day was really tough, but we found that he could draw these pictures that he called contour plots, and I could draw the same pictures. I called them playback graphs, and we have two very different methods for drawing our pictures, but we could draw the same pictures. And so by, you know, drawing the pictures and pointing at their features and saying, well, I call it contour plot and I call it playback graph, we made this dictionary between us. And eventually, after the end of that, those first couple days, we could communicate reasonably effectively. And by the end of the week, we'd proved our first lemma. And so we started to make progress, like really concrete progress, on
Wow.
using the kinds of things I knew about the positive Grassmannian to analyze the kinds of pictures he was drawing to to describe the interaction patterns of shallow water waves. And so that was just tremendously exciting. And
Yeah.
one of the early one of the early things that we discovered was that these interaction patterns of shallow water waves are what's called in mathematics a tropical curve. So yeah, so if you like, I can say just a tiny bit about what tropical
Of
curve
course.
means.